What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Freedive Passion. Today I'm going to take you along on a typical day during my base training. Base training is a period of your periodization on which we focus on building the fundamentals that we need for our given sport. For me, obviously, that's freediving. Now, although I describe this as my base training, the reality is I'm doing most of the things I'm about to describe all year round. The only time I'll start to do less than what I'm talking about is when I'm getting closer to my maximum depth during training and I want to start tapering off and saving my energy as much as possible. I'll let you guys know which things I'm doing throughout the year and which things I don't as the video goes along. But I like to think of it, rather than base training, I like to think of it more like just habits that I have in my life, which means I'm continuously going to be able to get better and better and reach a higher and higher level of performance. So no matter what's going on, whether I'm building up towards a maximum depth, whether I'm in my base training like I am now, or whether I'm teaching or coaching, I always start the morning the same way. I'll wake up and then I'll do my apnea session right away. So I wake up, I lie down, get myself comfortable, and I'll perform some static breath holds, focusing more on relaxation and experiencing mid-levels of CO2. So I'll be doing breath holds where maybe I'll be having a maximum of 4 or 5 contractions. What that looks like right now is I'm doing 3.5 minute statics. Once I've done that, I'm gonna start to stretch. I'll do an upper body, a lower body, and a lung stretching routine. If I'm coaching in this moment, then I'll do that with the people I'm coaching. If I'm training like I am now, then I'll be doing that on my own. So once again, I'll just mention that this morning routine never changes. That's just what I do year round. Now, after this, right now, in this period of my training, I go and do a dynamic session. Reason being, I'm focusing on constant weight monofin, but I haven't picked up a monofin in a long time. So a big priority for me at the moment is building comfort with the monofin, starting to get my body used to the movement, starting to become more and more efficient with monofin swimming. And this simply takes like a lot of practice. So it doesn't make any sense to do this at depth. If I'm swimming to depth and back, maybe I can do maximum 200 meters of fin swimming in a session. But if I'm doing dynamic, like the dynamic session I'm doing today, then it's going to be more like 1,500 meters of fin swimming. So of course, when we're thinking about practicing the specific skill, which I need to in this moment, you can't compare depth to dynamic. I'm using this time to create a deep awareness and efficiency of movement, which I should then be able to cross over into my deep diving, making my deep diving again as efficient as possible. And if freediving's about one thing and one thing alone, it's about efficiency. Now, for those of you who do fin swimming or have a monofin, then you know you can't wear the fin for too long. So I'm breaking my session up into 2 parts, or even 3 parts, we could say. I do my first 10 dynamics. By then, it's about 20 minutes and my feet are sore. So I take the fin off. I'll do some swimming. I'll do about 0.5 kilometer of freestyle. Then I'll whack the fin back on and do another 10 dynamics. The distance of the dynamics, I'm periodically increasing. So as I'm becoming more and more comfortable with the distance and with the finning, I'm adding a little bit of distance again, which increases the stress. What I notice is if I add a little bit of distance, stress is a little bit higher. I might have the tendency to fin harder or faster, which of course is not what we want, because I've already found the most efficient way to fin. Finning any faster than that is not efficient. So increasing the challengingness of the distance helps me to notice if I still have that habit of using more power than what is necessary. And I can do this by checking my dive time. So I see this type of training as extremely valuable and a very, very important thing to do before I even think about starting to go deep. Once I finish the session, I'll head home, I'll grab some food I wouldn't have ate yet, rehydrate, rest a little bit. Normally I'm researching, right now I'm researching a lot into hypnosis and neuro-linguistics programming. I think it's going to be very, very useful with regards to coaching and my own training to have some extra tools in my toolbox simply. I don't like to waste time. I always like to be working on something and developing as a coach. So my spare time as I'm recovering from this dynamic session will normally be spent doing some type of research. Then in the afternoon, once my food's digested, I'm gonna do some type of resistance training, focusing on strength, but also maybe incorporating a little bit of endurance stuff as well. So I train 2 days on, 1 day off. On my first day on, I'm gonna do an upper body strength routine, which incorporates the Turkish get up, pull-ups and dips with the rings. The next day, I'm going to be doing heavy front squats, just 5 reps, followed by 30 reps with the kettlebell, doing kettlebell swings. And then I'll do about a 400-meter run as recovery, so it's not going hard out. I'm actually using that to catch my breath again, but still keep the blood pumping around my body. Then once I get back, I'll repeat again. And depending on my energy levels in the day, I'll do anywhere between 3 and 5 sets of this. So once I've finished my weight training session, I'll probably do a little bit of mobility, a little bit of a stretch off. And then I'm just gonna be resting and recovering for the next day. Or if the next day is a day off, then I'll just begin my resting and recovering then. The thing I love about base training is you can incorporate so many different things into your training and you can push pretty hard. Obviously you don't wanna push so hard that you become overtrained. But then at the same time, you don't need to worry about doing some sort of maximum performance the next day or in a couple of days. So it's okay if you're a little bit run down, and that suits me well. I like doing a lot, I like training, I like working hard. And you've got to think the effort that you put in during this base training, that's what's going to give you the strength, the endurance, the skill when it comes to doing your deep diving. So that's it. That's a typical day with me right now in this moment of my training. Once I start to switch into the next stage of my periodization, I'm going to do another video so you can see how I like to organize my periodization and my training. And I'll also be giving you guys like an idea of exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing and specifically what I'm focusing on while I'm doing these different types of training. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's a little bit insightful for you and you're managing to learn something, or at the very least it's entertaining. Until next time, take it easy and dive safe.